A lot of beginners think the problem is aim. It usually isn't. A lot of the time, the real problem starts lower down, your stance. Because if your stance is unstable, awkward, or different every time, your throw is already fighting uphill before the dart even leaves your hand. And that's why some players can feel like they're trying really hard to throw well, but the dart still comes out differently from one visit to the next. So in this episode, I'm going to show you how to build a simple beginner stance that feels balanced, repeatable, and easy to trust. No weird contortions, no trying to copy a pro exactly, just a solid base you can actually use. By the end of this, you should know exactly how to stand at the oche without turning it into a full body puzzle. Welcome back to The Right Path. In the first episode, we covered the basics of getting started. Now we're zooming in on one of the most important foundations in darts, your stance. Because your stance is the platform your throw sits on. If the platform is steady, everything above it gets easier to repeat. If the platform is wobbling around like a shopping trolley with one dodgy wheel, you're making the game harder than it needs to be. So let's keep this simple and get you set up properly. Before we get into where your feet go, let's clear something up. A good dart stance is not about looking stylish. It is not about copying a specific professional player. And it is not about twisting yourself into the position that looks most dramatic from the side. A good stance does three things. It helps you stay balanced, it helps you stay still, and it helps you return to the same throwing position again and again. That's what we're after. Because consistency in darts starts before the arm moves. If your feet and balance are different every visit, your throw has to keep making adjustments on the fly. And that usually shows up as darts drifting left, right, high, low, or just generally wandering off like they've got other plans. So the goal here is not perfection. The goal is repeatability. Let's start with the front foot. If you're right-handed, your right foot will normally be the front foot nearest the oche. If you're left-handed, it'll be your left foot. For most beginners, the easiest starting point is this. Place your foot at the oche with the toes pointing roughly toward the board or slightly angled. Not fully side on, not fully square, somewhere natural in between. This is where beginners often get caught out. They think there must be one exact magic angle. There isn't. What matters is that the foot position helps you feel stable and lets your body line up naturally with the target. So don't obsess over getting the front foot mathematically perfect. What you want is a position that feels comfortable enough to repeat and stable enough to throw from without wobbling. A good rule is this. Your front foot should feel planted, not awkward. If your ankle, hip, or lower back already feels twisted before you've thrown a dart, you're probably overdoing it. Now, the back foot. This one gets ignored a lot, but it matters. Your back foot is there for support and balance. It is not there to do a lot of dramatic work. For most beginners, the back foot should rest lightly behind you, giving you stability without taking over the stance. Some players keep the heel raised, some keep more of the foot down. Both can work. What matters is that the back foot helps you feel steady and does not pull your body around. If your rear leg is too active, too tense, or too far behind you, it can make your balance worse instead of better. Think of the back foot as a stabiliser, not the star of the show. Front foot does the main supporting work, back foot helps you stay under control. That's it. Now let's talk about weight. In a basic dart stance, most of your weight should be on the front foot. Not all of it, most of it. That gives you a stable, forward-ready position without tipping you into the board. This is where beginners sometimes go too far. They hear lean forward and suddenly they're hanging over the oche like they're trying to whisper a secret to the treble 20. You do not need that. You want a slightly forward bias, not a full collapse. A simple check is this. Can you lean into your stance and still feel in control? Can you stay there without shaking, rocking, or needing to rescue yourself with the back foot? If yes, good. If no, bring it back a bit. Your stance should feel strong enough to hold for the full throw without extra movement. Because once your body starts adjusting halfway through the motion, the dart usually pays the price. Now let's move up the body. Your head should stay fairly still. Your eyes should be on the target, and your upper body should feel composed, not rigid. A lot of beginners make one of two mistakes here. They either stand too square and feel blocked off, or they twist themselves too much and make the throw feel awkward. What you want is a body position that lets your throwing arm move freely towards the target. Your shoulders do not need to be forced into some perfect textbook line. They just need to sit naturally with your stance. The big thing is avoiding unnecessary tension. If your neck is tight, your shoulders are raised, and your whole body looks like it's bracing for impact, you're not set up to throw smoothly. Relax the upper body. Stay tall enough to feel controlled. Lean only as much as you can hold comfortably. And keep the head quiet, because a still head helps your eyes stay locked on the target, and that makes the whole throw cleaner. Here's a very simple checklist you can use before every throw. Front foot planted at the oche, back foot placed for balance, most of your weight on the front foot, slightly natural lean towards the board, head still, body calm. That's the base. Let me say that again because this is the bit you want to remember. Front foot planted, back foot for balance, weight mostly forward, slight lean, head still, body calm. That is a perfectly good beginner stance. Not flashy, not complicated, but it works. Here's a really easy way to set your stance before each visit. Step to the oche, plant the front foot, place the back foot where you feel balanced, lean slightly into the front side, set your eyes on the target. Then, throw. That's your routine. The reason this matters is simple. Beginners often walk up and stand differently every single time without realising it. Different angle, different lean, different balance, different result. So even before your throw gets better, your setup can get better. And that alone can make you feel more controlled at the board. In darts, tiny pieces of consistency add up. This is one of them. Let's cover the mistakes. First, standing too side-on too early. Some beginners turn themselves so far sideways that the throw starts to feel cramped and unnatural. Second, leaning too much. More forward does not automatically mean more accurate. Sometimes it just means less stable. Third, moving around during the throw. If your feet are shifting, your body is swaying, or your balance changes mid-throw, that's usually a sign the stance is not settled. Fourth, forcing a stance that looks right but feels wrong. This happens a lot. A player sees someone else's stand and tries to copy it exactly, even though their body doesn't like it. Use good principles? Yes. Copy every detail? No. And fifth, changing your stance after every bad dart. One dart goes wide and suddenly your feet are in a new postcode. Don't do that. If you're going to adjust slowly and with a reason, not in a panic. Here's a good drill for your next practice session. Before every visit, do a 2-second stance check. Front foot, back foot, weight forward, head still, then throw all 3 darts. Do that for 10 visits at the big 20. That's it. You're not trying to hit perfection here. You're training yourself to arrive at the board in the same way each time. That habit matters. Because a repeatable stance gives the throw something solid to sit on. And once that becomes automatic, you free up more attention for aiming, rhythm, and release later on. A lot of beginners ask the wrong question. They ask, is this the perfect stance? A better question is this: can I repeat this stance comfortably and stay balanced while I throw? If the answer is yes, you're on the right track. Remember, at this stage, good enough and repeatable beats perfect and awkward every single time. Your stance does not need to look exactly like anybody else's. It just needs to help you throw from a stable base. That's the job. And once the base is reliable, improving the rest becomes much easier. So here's the big takeaway from episode 2. Your stance should help you feel balanced, still, and repeatable. Front foot planted, back foot for balance, weight mostly on the front side, slight natural lean, head still, body calm. Keep it simple and don't chase some ultra technical setup before you've even built a foundation. In the next episode, we're going to look at grip, because once your stance is stable, the next big question is what your hand is doing with the dart. If this helped, subscribe and let me know in the comments what your stance currently feels like. Solid, awkward, 2-side on, or all over the place. And remember, a smoother throw starts with a steadier base. See you in the next one.